Hi, my name is Will Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am so excited to be speaking with the renowned singer-songwriter, Cade. For more on Kyle, you can read more about him right below this video, but in the meantime, here's a sneak peek at the amazing talent of Kyle.
Remember that last night we wished for more and tried to stop the time. Drink rosé to forget. In the morning you're gone. I'm patiently waiting, half-heartedly living. I told you what I want, you told me what you want. Still you're not here. Can't think clear when you're not here. My mind's not clear when you're not near. My mind's not clear when you're not fucking here.
Well, hello, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing great this morning, this gloomy day in Los Angeles.
Well, the sunshine is out here in New York, and I'm so excited to be speaking with you. And I'm so excited that the audience got a little sneak peek of your lyric video for your song, You're Not Here. But before we dive into that, I want to know, Mr. Kyle Cade, where you grew up and when you knew that music was going to be a big part of your life.
So I'm actually from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is a state. A lot of people don't realize that, but so I grew up there for my whole life. I definitely was always doing music. I was just like singing, annoying my siblings all the time. Like I was a little kid singing on my cat, like out front on a rock all day long. But I think I didn't like really realize that I was a writer until like my early 20s, and I just like would kind of like sit down at my piano and like express things I was going through, and then I was like, hey, like I kind of like this. So, but I mean, besides that, I like grew up in the church, so I was always like singing with my mom at church and things like that.
Well, Kyle, you took your songwriting to the next step because when you moved to Los Angeles in 2015, you attended the Songwriting School of Los Angeles. And I want to know what that experience was like for you to really start working and honing your craft as a songwriter.
So it was definitely a little nerve-wracking at first. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was used to, I guess, kind of fine-tuning ideas, like, and not like so much co-writing. Like that experience really opened my idea or my like mind to collaboration and how much I love co-writing. But at first, like, throwing ideas out in front of people that you don't know that well is a little like nerve-wracking because you just like don't know how people will react when you're sitting there like opening up your soul. But it became an experience that I just found that I really loved, and I'm super grateful for it. Literally, like Rob Seals at the Songwriting School of Los Angeles is an amazing mentor, super nice, super supportive. But I definitely feel like that helped pave the way for me in the industry here in LA.
Absolutely. Well, the fact that you were able to get vulnerable and go outside of your comfort zone, it doesn't surprise me that what kind of birthed that through that vulnerability, you birthed the idea for Journey, right? A 5-song cycle,
Yeah.
with the first song being released, You're Not Here. I want to know a little bit more about not only how the whole idea of doing this beautiful 5-song cycle, almost like, I love the way you describe it. It's like a story in that this first song, You're Not Here, is the first page. So I want
Yeah.
to know on a macro level, the idea for Journey, how that came about. And then the micro level, why that first story for You're Not Here?
So on the bigger level, like one thing my mom has always told me that always stuck with me was that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So her big thing was always to like, enjoy the little bumps in the road, enjoy the little things, because like at the end of the day, that's going to make you who you are. So over this like course of time, there's just been this selection of songs that I guess have felt a little more dear to me, a little more about my life. Um, and I finally had them all, and I was like, you know what? Like, I think I'm just gonna put them together. And it just kind of came cohesively together as like my journey with starting out through songwriting in the past 5.5 years of LA. Um, as far as this one specific song, um, I met someone who was like in town visiting LA for a while, but he lived on the opposite coast. So like we hit it off well. We kept in touch after we'd like see each other, but it was just like a moment that I felt like I couldn't really like live life fully because I was always like thinking about like the other side of the world, so to speak. And so I guess this one's my first just because for me, truthfully, it's like the least vulnerable. So it's kind of like my way of being able to like open up to putting myself out there without being like, okay, cry with me.
It's baby steps.
Yeah.
But Kyle, what I love also so much, first and foremost, I can't wait for the release of story number 2. When does that
Yeah.
come out? Is that end of June?
Yeah. So that's going to be June 30th. Um, so I'm releasing it on, I lost one of my best friends a couple years ago. So
Oh,
I'm
I'm so
releasing it on
sorry.
her birthday
Oh,
as like a little memory. I'm really close to her family, so they all know about it and they've heard it many times. But yeah, I mean I'm a lot more nervous for that one just because it does show like a lot more vulnerability. But I'm also excited because like I mean that's me at the end of the day.
well, Kyle, I also like the idea that, in you reaching into your vulnerability, you're also going back to your North Star, and correct me if I'm wrong, which is to make people feel not so alone. So
Yeah.
even with, this first story that is you kind of tiptoeing into this vulnerability, I think it's a topic that a lot of people can relate to. And then, for what's going to be released at the end of June, I think many people, especially during these past 15 months, know of at least, I'm sure,
Yeah.
someone that they've lost. And I think through your music, I really think that people are going to be able to kind of possibly have it as their own North Star to help heal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oddly enough, it was like this weird coincidence when I was just recently thinking about releasing that one. One of my co-writers and collaborators happened to just lose one of her best friends to COVID. And weirdly enough, this sounds like insane, but her birthday and his birthday are both also June 30th. So like the minute like she told me that, and she's heard the song in the past, it just kind of was like, okay, like maybe this is a sign that like I need to just like put it out there and not like worry so much about what people are going to think.
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
also realized I never answered one of your questions
oh, which one?
about why it's like a story and why I've gone with like the book aspect
Yeah, go for it.
for
No
it.
worries.
But
This is an
yeah,
easy breezy
one
interview. This
one
isn't
track
Barbara
mind of
Walters.
me.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, this isn't Barbara
Um,
Walters.
so I've always been very inspired by poetry. Majority of like every idea I get comes from like a little poem that I like jot down in my phone. So for me, it's just like I then take those poems and, through collaboration, turn them into like the songs you hear. So I just wanted it to like come from a place of like very simplistic, like poetry type thing.
I
So
love it. That's beautiful.
yeah.
And I love that no one else is doing that. So you're not only being authentic to yourself, but as Judy Garland would say, you're being a first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of
Yeah.
someone else. And I want to know, Kyle, after, this journey, literally and figuratively, of this 5-song cycle is complete, what else do you have on your vision board? What else are you looking forward to tackling within not only the music industry, but maybe beyond in another medium as well?
So I actually all the poems that like derive from songs I've written, or all the poems that turn into the songs I've written, I'm saving in, you know, a separate little folder. I would love to actually release those one day as like the original things that inspired the songs, because I even take those into sessions that aren't for my own artist project. Um, Besides that, I'm definitely super focused on writing. Like I love the craft more than anything. I know some people like love the performance aspect and everything, but my thing always comes down to like the craft is like what I love, creating that product. Um the next like step would also be I have a plan for like another EP that I plan to get very vulnerable with. I already have the like title idea, but it's going to be called Kid and Me, and it's basically going to be a healing process for me in itself to deal with like some trauma I went through as a child, to like really embrace those and experiences and turn them into hopefully something someone else can relate to. And ideally those songs will be the songs that I wish I had as a kid.
Ah, I love it. You know, Kyle, that reminds me a lot about, for me as an artist, I was a performer professionally for 25 years, but when I became a director, it was very important for me. I had one North Star and I still do. And that just brought up, it got me a little choked up and teary-eyed thinking about it, because as a director, I always want to create a room that 11-year-old Will didn't have. I wanted to create a safe
Yeah.
space for that kid. And I love that, you know, for someone who's gone to the vulnerable as well in my own creative artistic journey, that seems like a beautiful next step for you. But
Yeah.
I'm so excited for not only you as a singer-songwriter, but I'm also really excited about this whole notion that your stories, again, director hat on, literally, figuratively, there's something very cinematic and theatrical about your songs, and I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but you know, I, they almost like seem to want to maybe at some point breathe in the medium of
Yeah.
theater or cinema. Have you ever thought that, or am I crazy?
No, I mean, I definitely think overall I'm a very like theatrical person. I'm very expressive and loud, you know, it's just who I've always been. So I think it would make sense that that would come through in what I write. Also, like, I guess like I love putting on a playlist of sad songs and like just feeling emotions. Like, so I guess a lot of the things I write tend to be that as well, where, you know, like I want them to make you feel something.
Mm. I love that. Kyle, I love how unapologetic you are. I love that you've obviously done the work, not only on your craft, but on yourself to be able to release for the young Kyles out there, you know,
Yeah.
the songs that, like you said, you didn't have. And, you know, I'm so excited that you're coming on board this new social media platform as well, because the international reach is immense. And
Hmm.
you know, just in listening to your first song, you know, it has such a beautiful transcendent quality. And I'm curious to know, like, you know, what excites you about the prospects of, you know, not only reaching new fans internationally, but also possibly new collaborators.
Um, well, I mean, definitely always reaching new collaborators. I love working with new people and hearing their life experiences and seeing how to like join those life experiences together. I think the platform itself is really interesting since it is so like artist centric, and it really puts the focus on the artist, which so often, like oddly enough, gets forgotten about. And it's almost like a lot of these with new streaming platforms and stuff, it's not about the artists anymore. One thing that really stood out to me after watching like a few of your interviews and, you know, the little clips that they talk about it is they always mention like artists deserve to live by their art. And it's like one of those things that would be like, yeah, but it's like literally like artists and songwriters are so underpaid now with streaming. I mean, streaming opened one door where it's more accessible to get things out there, but in the same sense, you know, it's not the same when like album sales were a thing. So
Absolutely. And look at what I love so much, having gotten to know and befriend the founders of FENIX. You know, many of them have worked in the record industry for decades and know what those pitfalls and downfalls are, and no one else was doing it. So they basically created the thing. And, even when I first heard about it, I was like, this is too good to be true. But then I was like, wait, why is this considered groundbreaking? This should have been done decades ago.
Yeah.
The CEOs are doing it. They put their money where their mouth is. They put their ideas and their craft where their mouth is, and they've created such a beautiful community already. And Kyle, I'm so excited and grateful that you're a part of this community now as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm super thrilled. And I mean, hopefully this platform will be something that paves the way for the future, so it can get back into like compensating artists for all the time and effort they put into the art we use in our everyday life.
Amen. I couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Well, thank you. And it was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.